Welcome to Newport's peak performance video on the NK300 3 horsepower electric kayak motor. This video is going to go over all the adjustments you need to get the best performance out of your product on the water. Adjusting these settings or having a second set of eyeballs on you as you're using your motor on the water is very helpful. A lot of these adjustments are best done on the water and almost impossible to do before you are in the water with your boat. You also want to make sure that you're making these adjustments with your kayak fully loaded, how you're going to use it for the day. Back at the motor, the main adjustments you're going to want to look at for peak performance are what we call running depth and trim. Running depth adjustments are best done after you've run your kayak at full throttle. But as a general baseline, with your kayak in about thigh deep water, you want to see the top of the foil right around water height. That's a great starting point. The second part is trim. So this is going to adjust the posture of your kayak on the water. There's a lot that goes into the ideal trim setting, including the amount of transom flex, how your weight's distributed on your kayak. But as a general starting point, this first hole closest to the stern of your kayak is where you'll want to start. The other most common used setting is probably setting 2 or 3. So that next hole back or the second hole back from the initial starting point. Again, this is best done on the water after you've observed the posture of a kayak under full throttle. The next important thing is making sure that you have solid, clean, and tight electrical connections. So starting with the plug, you want to make sure that that's fully mated. And one preventative measure is applying a dielectric grease to the plug terminals. That'll keep corrosion out and oxidation out. I prefer the aerosol type instead of the gel type because the gel type can collect sand and debris if you happen to get some of that stuff in there. The next electrical check you're going to want to do is that these battery terminals are tightened all the way down. A good solid electrical connection at the battery is going to help you get the best performance out of your motor. The last thing that you can do for peak performance is assessing the performance of the throttle control. At the beginning of every outing on the water, you want to assess the performance of your throttle control. You want to make sure that number 1, throttle control is on. Number 2, you've got the proper mode selected for deep cycle or lithium battery. And number 3, that your throttle reaches 100% all the way down to 1% in both directions, forward and reverse. If you're not getting to 100% or all the way down to the lowest percentage on your throttle, you're gonna want to calibrate your throttle control. So let's touch base on how to calibrate the throttle control. So with the magnet off, you want to ensure that you have a voltage reading. We're reading 41.5 volts. That is where you want to be sitting for a full charge on a 36 volt battery. For calibration, you're going to press and hold mode, and then it's going to prompt you with a little F on the screen and a flashing calibrating. You're going to throttle all the way forward to 100%. Once it hits 100%, press mode. It's going to prompt you to move the throttle to 100% in reverse. Press mode once it reaches 100% in reverse. It's going to prompt you to go to neutral. Go to neutral, press mode. And then you're going to press the power button. You're going to insert the magnet, power on the throttle control box, and test forward to 100%. Not running it for too long. Looks good, we're reaching 100%. You want to go all the way down, make sure it's able to get all the way down or close to 1%. Looks good. And then we're going to test 100% in reverse. It reaches that. We're going to go all the way back down to 1% or as close as we can get to that. Looks like it's reaching that, no problem. And then we're going to go back to neutral. At this point, the throttle control is calibrated and ready to use. Thank you for watching the peak performance video on the NK300 3 horsepower electric kayak motor. Like and subscribe to stay up to date with the channel, and for more details on the product or to purchase the product, check newportvessels.com, and remember, the way forward is electric.